Hi guys, welcome to my end of season gardening video where I share a little bit about what I learned over the course of the past, I guess, spring and summer. For those of you who haven't seen my recent or previous vlogs, I guess, where I talked about gardening, this was the first year that I had my own garden. We got married 2 years ago yesterday, and Nathan left for Afghanistan very shortly after we got married, and while he was away I moved into the townhouse where we are now, and that was the first time that I'd had my first garden. And granted, it was limited. We have basically the yard in back, which technically I don't think is really ours. We have a cement patio, and then we have a bush growing off to one side, and we have a hedge of bushes and trees a few yards behind our patio, and then out front we have, well, basically grass. But when I moved in, our lovely landlady told us that I could plant flowers and whatever. So I took that into consideration, and at first I was just going to get a pot and actually plant something in a pot outside, and then I figured I'd just if it was a bush or a perennial or whatever, I'd just bring it with if we moved. Now, we still don't know whether or not we're going to be moving and when. Right now, we're happy with where we are, and the only reason we would move is if we... No, we wouldn't move right now. We're still getting settled with, I'm finishing school, and my husband is not completely full-time yet, so the job would come first and then a house. But we do love the area. This is where I grew up. And anyway, long story short, I think around May began posting a few videos on garden planning and just dreams and ideas I had. And I did go back and watch that video, and my original plans included twinkle lights, because when we started, we had grass all the way up in our yard, up to the window, and a big bush out front. Our lawn guys recently gave him a haircut, but here he is currently, and I do have solar panels hooked up to him. I started trimming the bush and watering it and fertilizing it, and it's still a little smaller than our neighbors, I think because of the neglect it received from the previous tenants who lived here. But that was my baby, and there was one out back. It became known as the poo bush because Alice would do her business, and I would fertilize the bush with her investment. So those were my two babies, and then I was like, okay, what can I do with this? So I really wanted some twinkle lights. We had taken previous trips to Disney. If you've seen any of my, I think I have 2 trips up this year's and then the previous years. And downtown Disney has twinkle lights in all of their trees, and I love walking through downtown Disney at night and having all the lights twinkling like lightning bugs, and it's magical and gorgeous. And one of the things I wanted to do was to find twinkle lights. So I put twinkle lights on the bush out front. I found them buy one get one half off at Kmart, and I have not seen them since. They're string solar lights, and I'm very happy with them right now. I think if circumstances were a little different, if we got different sun in the back, I would take one strand off and only have one up there so it would look more realistic, and then I'd put the other one out back, but we don't get enough sun to really power the solar panel back there. And the landscaping is rocky back there, and so I don't want to push the stake in because it's just plastic. But so yes, next I decided for the patio that would be really nice to have kind of a love seat or something to sit on when I got home from school. I could go out there and do my homework in the sunshine and whatever. And we did have a fire pit, so we ended up finding a love seat at Target, and we got it on sale, and then we got an extra % off because it was the display that we ended up buying because they sold out. And we were very happy with that. We've since bought furniture covers, as you can see in the little clip that I have here. We keep those on most of the time unless we're using it. But hopefully it will make our investment last longer, and yeah, we've gotten quite a bit of use out of it. Here's a look just outside of our cement patio at the bird feeder and the bird bath I installed just on the edge of the property, and I do see quite a few critters over there. I was so excited about a garden that I did invest in a couple flowers. We went to Walmart and I picked out, they're called Dahlia McKnight's Memory, and I have a couple here. One bush looks slightly different than the other bush. The one I like a little bit more is this one. And then the other bush looks a little bit more like a Gerber daisy. It's got this, this center that opens up. And so those are out front. I got 2 packages, one of the dahlias and one of calla lilies. And each had 3, I forget what they're called. They're not bulbs. They're like little pointed, I forget what they're called. But, so I planted 3 of each. 2 of the dahlias came up, and to my surprise, they were each about 4 feet tall, 5 feet, I want to say. My tallest one probably got to 5'3" or 4. I think it was just a little shorter than I am. And that surprised me. So I staked them up because they need to be supported up to the top 28 inches. Otherwise they're too heavy for the brittle stems. And then I also learned how to, it's called deadheading. When they die, if you cut them off right away, all the energy will then go into new buds and they'll keep getting taller. Also, when they grow in 3s like this. The main one comes up and then there's 2 on the sides. If you cut off the middle one, it'll look like this, and it'll branch out and it'll grow bushier, so you'll have lots of flowers all over the place. If you leave just the middle one, which is what I did, they're going to grow taller because the energy is not being split 3 ways. So that's what I tried this year, and I don't think I don't know completely what I'm doing, because the way that they grow, they kind of all split out like this, and it's kind of crazy. I had to cut a few off because they're just sticking straight out. Like if that buds, like it's gonna go into the ground. So I'm still experimenting. What else? The 3rd dahlia did not bloom, and I believe it got drowned. Here is a look at the really sandy soil we have here, and it's a little bit weed overgrown. This was the spot where my 3rd dahlia would have been if it had not gotten drowned. As you can see in a second, it's right under the ledge of 2 parts of the ceiling. Never bloomed, and I was looking on the package, and I think what this particular flower does is it blooms the first year or just produces foliage, and then the next year you dig them up in the fall and you keep them inside in the warm in the winter, and then you replant them in the spring, and then in the late spring early fall or summer, sorry, they will open up and they'll be even bigger than they were the previous year, and then I think they're spent after that. So it's 2 years, but I paid $5 for 3 of each, and I think that's not bad at all for 2 years worth of growing. Let's see, the flower bed out front where I have them planted, I created myself. I grabbed stones from the field out back because I figured they were just the apartments anyway, nobody was using them, and that's what my neighbors had done. So I made that myself, and then I was reading about mulching, and I didn't want to spend extra money, so I used pine needles, also from the back, or grass that had been cut, and I mulched around them, and that served to keep the soil more moist, and they don't have to be watered as often. So this is a current look at my dahlias as of September 6th. Well, these are the calla lilies down here. There's quite a bit of foliage, but no blooms. I don't know for sure that they only grow the 2nd year, or if I did something wrong with giving them too much fertilizer, which I used Epsom salts. That's the only fertilizer I used, but my dahlias seem to be doing fine and shot up almost as tall as me. Let's see. I did put some time and effort into the garden next to us because our neighbor didn't really come out, and I saw that there were strawberries growing there, and onions, and so I tended that. They, for the most part, stopped producing in July. There's a few, but they don't really berry enough to actually eat. What else? Okay, so I learned that soil is important. We have a very sandy soil and it dries out quick, so you have to keep that in mind. Here you can see how sandy the soil is. This was where I tried to plant my butterfly bush. I also tried to plant peas in this spot, and my peas died. So that didn't really work. I'm not sure why. Nothing seems to grow in that spot. I do have onions and strawberries that some previous owner planted, and then I planted chives, and those are also coming up in this spot. Here's a look at this whole area that's technically my neighbor's. You can see nothing is growing on the right side. My fail, my peas, and my butterfly bush didn't come up. And behind Alice is the strawberries, the chives, and the onions that are very happy. So at least there was some success there. Going into September, we've got quite a bit of grasshoppers, spiders, and the plants seem to be kind of dying down, though still quite vibrant. Alright, well, I think that's everything I've learned so far. Yeah, overall I'm happy with it. I've kind of given up doing a whole lot of maintenance at this point just because I figure frost is on its way and everything is pretty well established. I'm not going to start any peas or anything right now. It just wouldn't be a good time, but I am working on my windowsill garden still, and hopefully that will thrive, and hopefully my lemon turns out, and yeah, next year will be a whole new adventure, and I will start planning again for that probably in the spring, or if I get antsy in the winter. I will probably replant the calla lilies and the dahlias. I may move them. We'll see. Yeah, I think it was a success. And we did well with what we had. So I hope this was interesting to you. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you again real soon.